Oh, yeah, we're gonna call him Mr. F. There we go.
Mr. F. He was so hot, and he wore these little hot pants.
His little hot pants.
That's such a mom thing to say. He had his hot pants on. No, but he wore like these khakis and they were white. They were white, like a Twingo.
That was very
It's kind of like the naughty part of us.
Like the sneaking around, like, ooh, I'm doing something I shouldn't.
Anyways,
oh well, hello there.
welcome to
SMUT TEA.
SMUT TEA. Yeah, we're talking about all the smut. I have a special guest with me, Victoria.
Hello, my loves.
Met each other through work because we're
Yeah.
both entrepreneurs. And a lot of times in that, they push like constantly become the best version of yourself and only read books if they're self-development and making you a better person. And yeah, it's just like,
it's
dude,
old. It's like,
so...
can I just enjoy who the fuck I am
Yeah.
with the trauma? And
I'm just gonna be
and
me.
it's like, you know what? I'm just gonna accept this and just like be conscious to be a better human moving forward. But I
Yeah.
don't need to keep working on myself like a science experiment.
Yeah,
so.
I just feel like people get addicted to that and they don't learn how to like accept who they already are and express who they are. And like, obviously we're not condoning people being assholes.
Oh, for sure. Please don't be an asshole. Like, please.
Yeah, we
For
don't.
the sake of humanity, there's enough assholes out there.
That's not the vibe, baby. But it's like a freaking running on a hamster wheel when you're only reading self-development. And a couple of years ago, I think it was like 4 years ago, I got really sick and I picked up a fiction book, and it was actually the Crave series, which is about vampires, of course, on brand.
So on brand.
I was just like obsessed, and I read like the entire series in a weekend, and it just catapulted me into this, and it changed everything for me. Like, changed my hair color, I changed my business, I rebranded everything, like my relationship was so different. And I'm like, wow, I just felt like I unlocked a version of myself that I was taught to be ashamed of for so long.
I love that.
And then I started reading smut, and then I started reading dark smut, which you guys know I like dark romance. But Victoria has recently dived back into fiction for the first time in a long time.
Yeah.
And so she's been messaging me and I'm like, yes, girl. Like, we've been sending voice notes, and
Yeah.
it's so healing.
It's so fucking healing, and it is such a catalyst for so much expression in, like, as you mentioned, for yourself, for your own personality, for your life, for your business. And it's been honestly so healing on so many different levels as well. I finally like re-popped that cherry because it's been so long. It has been incredible to like deep dive into that world and to allow there to be so much deliciousness just to soak up within these books.
I feel like when I was stuck in this self-development hamster wheel, it always felt like something was missing for
Yeah.
me. And then I started reading fiction, and specifically like spicy fiction and smut, and I was like, oh my god, this was the thing. I think it was just like the unlocking for me.
Yeah, it's about getting out of your head and not looking at yourself as something that needs to be fixed.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I feel like when we
Yes.
read personal development, over long term, it can feel disempowering because you're just constantly working on yourself, and it's just like this constant project that never has an ending. So you never actually have closure to completing any of these cycles or patterns because you're just on to the next one that just becomes a bigger circle versus like, okay, I'm complete with this, and now I'm gonna go enjoy my life as this version of myself and not need to be under the microscope.
I think in the entrepreneurial world, sometimes, especially like with online businesses, obsession is glorified a little bit. And it's like, you know, it's great. I mean, I have OCD, so like I do get obsessed with certain things and goals. I think it's good, and like what you're doing in life and what you're moving towards, I think it's good to be obsessed, but not to the point where you're forgetting to live your life and be you.
Well, like obsession with personal development, I think is like the toxic shit. You know what I mean? Like, I'm obsessed with creativity. I'm obsessed with like my artistry and how it wants to come into form, no matter what
expression.
Expression. You know what I mean? I love that. But like, it's like, at what point did I just like enjoy who I was versus like becoming your best self? And it was like, when the fuck do I meet that person? Like, when the fuck does she show up? Because I think like I've worked on myself to this point that like I feel like I should be enjoying this more, and I'm not.
Teaching us to dissociate from who we currently are because we're striving to become a higher version of the highest self.
What if you get to just be you?
Yeah.
And you get to have fun, and you still get to have awareness, and you get
Cheers
to
to
work through things, but you get to do things that bring you joy and light you the fuck up, and you don't have to constantly be on this hamster wheel. That's the way we're living now. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers to that shit. Cheers to you, honey. Let's get off the fucking hamster wheel.
Yeah. Let's talk about the books that you have read already.
Yes, so definitely in the last 5 years, can't say I've picked up a fiction book. Any book I have picked up, it's been some level of personal development. As much as I've loved that, you know, and I've even have like my random witchy books that I you know, like to, devour. but nothing has been like on a fiction level. And usually when I read, I have to like reread the same paragraph like 5 times over for me to get it. Like my brain doesn't consume like normally. Like,
boring
it's
shit.
just boring shit. Like it's not the fact that I hate to read, I just hate what I've been reading. So
Yes.
I remember I was at the airport and I was like going through, and there's like, of course, Jay Shetty, and there's Atomic Habits, and there's all these personal development books, and sitting in the middle was Gothicana.
What?
And girl, like I just saw the cover and I was just like, okay, say less. Like we're gonna fuck it. We're gonna pop this fucking cherry, and we're not gonna read another fucking book about how we need to heal ourselves. I got home and I read for probably 6 hours straight. Like I finished this first book within like 36 hours, and it was just like, I am fucking hooked. And I like immediately, I'm like, what's the next book? Like,
I wanted it to keep going because I loved the characters that were throughout that, and just the storyline, and it was very like we discussed, it was like very like Wednesday Addams energy, and like
there was like a lot of mystery and plot twist and some like witchy shit and love and sex and just all the dark romance shit that you want.
I thought it was about vampires when I picked it up.
See, I expected something with vampires to come through for sure, but
Even
that
to
never
like
happened.
the end, yeah. I was like, so are they sucking blood? Though?
Right? I know.
Where are they sucking the blood?
Where's the blood?
The fangs, we need that.
If I were to like scale it like on a 1 to 5 level of spice, it was, for me, it was only like a 2. It was just a nice little like taste of like
so
some sexual expression.
That.
You know what I mean?
I'm like, if she says it was a 5.
Oh fuck no! That was like a 1.5, 2-ish. You know what I mean? On a scale of 1 to 5.
Which everybody
like,
has a different
for sure
reference. But we've been talking a lot the past 2 days, and I'm like, oh, I have some really good dark romance books. So when you were gonna say like, if you were gonna say higher than that, I'm like over here like,
no, it's descriptive enough that like I wouldn't give it a 1, but it was not descriptive. It wasn't crazy. It's not crazy. So if you're just getting started, I feel like that's a nice little like introduction to see like scale that for yourself, and that'll give you a good like starting place of like how much spice you want.
Gothicana is a very good book to start with on your smut journey.
Yeah.
It is a little descriptive, so if you're a person who's like never read smut before, you might feel like, whoa, that was intense.
It's a little exposure therapy.
Yeah. Which is fine. Like we said, everybody has different levels.
For sure.
And I liked Gothicana. We were talking about this last night. I liked it because it had like the teacher with the student.
Yeah.
And it was like,
I was very here for this.
It's kind of like the naughty part of us that
like the sneaking around, like, ooh, I'm doing something I shouldn't.
And I used to have this teacher in middle school.
what was his name? I probably shouldn't say it on YouTube.
Mr. F.
Oh yeah, we're gonna call him Mr. F. There we go.
Mr. F. He was so hot, and he wore these little hot pants.
His little hot pants.
That's such a mom thing to say. He had his hot pants on. No, but he wore like these khakis, and they were tight. They were tight, like a tiger. You know, I'm from the middle of nowhere, country town, and there's nothing wrong with that. But this man, he did his hair, which I had never seen a man do his hair before.
Ooh.
He wore polos that were tight.
Oh, I love that. Were they like tighter on his arms?
Yeah,
and everything?
he was
Oh,
so
girl,
hot.
yes.
And so all I could picture while I was reading Gothicana is like a naughty version of Mr. F. And I was like, okay, I'm
not mad at this. I'm not mad at this. Absolutely. So it definitely gives a lot of like naughty fantasy. You know what I mean? Like to really play it out. And especially if you're someone who also loves like a little bit of mystery and
I like that.
plot twist with the death and like it was just, I really enjoyed that whole aspect. The only thing I wish is like, I'm someone who likes the series. I like the story to continue, and it's just like a one and done. So it's nice, like we'll plug in, see if you like it, scale from there and figure out where you want to go. So the next book I moved into, I went to Barnes & Noble and I was like, where's the dark romance? Like where's the smut? And she just kind of looked at me, she's like, come this way.
Girl, why didn't you ask me?
Well, I was in the middle of the Barnes & Noble and it was just like a moment, like a spur of the moment type situation. So I would have absolutely like called you immediately, right? I woke up, I got ready, and I was like, I have to go to Barnes & Noble right now. Like it was just like tunnel vision to get myself to the bookstore.
And I was like, where's the smut? And she just like,
Ma'am, okay, come this way, please. I remember you had mentioned something about Hades. I couldn't remember Neon Gods, but I remember you mentioned something about Hades, and I'm like, say less. And so I was like looking through books and just like kind of scanning the back of them, and A Touch of Darkness was the first book in that series of Hades and Persephone. I literally read that book in like 22 hours. Like I literally went home and was like, well, what's on my calendar today? None of that. Like I'm reading today.
We're moving all this shit over.
Yeah, everything got moved over. Like anything that was a priority, I got it done like within half an hour, and then like immediately went and like
it's
made
amazing
some tea.
how fast we can work.
I know, that's incentive.
A Touch of Darkness for me, it was like, okay, now we kind of getting, this is like a 3.5. It's descriptive as fuck for sure. I love that. I'm very vivid. I moved through that first book so quick, and next day I went back to Barnes & Noble, bought 2 and 3.
Yes.
I've been single for 6 years. I've been celibate for 2. Your girl has been like,
It's dry in here. I am thirsty. And
It's been giving me life. Reading these books, it's been very healing around like what does feel exciting for me to want to explore within my sexuality moving forward versus going on autopilot and being a chameleon in the bedroom so that whatever he wants, I just, yeah, we can do that, and I don't voice my needs or wants. And so hearing like not only their perspectives has been really, really healing, but just also their sexual exploration, because it's just been wildly exhilarating to say the fucking least.
Yeah.
So healing. Read 4 books within 2 weeks, and it was like my brain just I can't take in enough. I'm on the 4th book in the series right now, my 5th book in the past few weeks. What I've come to realize is that like what we tend to expect, like our own insecurities will always distort what's actually going on.
Of course.
And for myself, it's been so healing reading this book, like this series, because it's like going back into dating, there's always going to be those insecurities. I'm like, oh, okay, so if I just communicate these things without projecting them, like just witnessing them navigate their relationship has been giving me like so much empowerment moving into dating. It's wildly insane what it's done to my creativity within the business, but also just on a personal level.
I think too, in our society, women are taught to be ashamed of our sexuality. We are taught that from a very young age. Very quiet about what we would like, or if, you know, a woman is a sexual person, there's always commentary on that, or like, because I've always been that way, and this is like, we're getting into some really deep TMI stuff. So if you're here for that, hi,
Welcome
I love
to the
you.
tea.
Yeah.
Welcome to Tea Talk.
I love you for being here and being open to this conversation. And if you're not into this, that's totally okay. Come back and watch a different video. This is just a deep conversation about how SMUT has impacted us. And women are just taught to be very shy. And, you know, for me, I have all boy cousins. And so growing up, it was never like a thing where I felt different necessarily. But then when I started like talking to guys, and when I started getting older, and it was like, oh, I'm a girl, so I'm not allowed to be sexual. I'm not allowed to talk about the dates that I went on, or I'm not allowed to be communicative to a person or a partner about like, this is how I like it. I just think a lot of people get intimidated by that, or they don't know how to handle a woman who knows what she wants, especially in the bedroom.
Yeah.
Over time, I was really taught to like just shame myself, really, because I was being shamed externally, and then that went internally. Reading these books for me is like, oh my God, yeah, like, see, I'm not the only one who likes this. And if there's so many authors in the world writing very vivid smut and spice, and there's so many women in the world who are like, I fucking love this. Yeah. It's obviously a pattern for us in our society where we do feel like we have to close that part of us or dim that part of us down. It's been amazing for me too. It's like a progression too. I feel like when I started reading Crave series is a YA, so it's young adult, and I was really into it. And then anytime that they would like start kissing and stuff, I'm like, okay, but what happens after that?
Yeah, like where are we going with
so
this?
They just cuddle. And I'm like, so what's next?
Like we're stuck in the foreplay era.
Y'all don't just go to the next scene after you cuddle. Like, what are you doing? You know, I want to know the behind the scenes. I want to be a fly on the wall.
I want to see the whole thing.
Yeah, like, fuck.
Don't leave it to the imagination, please.
Cuddling's great, but like also,
I like the thing that leads to the cuddling. You know, there's usually something that happens before cuddling after the fact.
Yeah, I feel like just cuddling, like, cool, get off me. Are we 12? Yeah, like, no. I don't know. I also am introverted, and I'm like, so, yeah, I love hugs, but like stay over there. You can hug me, but like after 5 seconds, I'm like, okay. Like, I will literally tap on my husband if he's like snuggling me, because he loves snuggling, and I'm just not that person. But I will snuggle with him, and then like 2 seconds later, I'm like, I'm done. Okay. He's like, okay, I'm complete. Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
I was like, wait, there's books that I can be a fly on the wall? And then I started finding those. And then I started finding books that I'm like, the deeper that I went into the progression of smut, the more confident I feel in expressing who I actually am. And just even my clothes have changed. The way that I carry myself has changed. The way that I speak to people. Like, I'm not dimming myself in any way.
And I think, honestly, there's so many really empowering female leads within these books that, like, it's not always the damsel, you know what I mean? And I think like there's like that old traditional way of writing a storyline where the woman is the damsel and then the man is the hero. And it's like in a lot of these books, the woman is the fucking hero. Like, she's the bad bitch that comes through and like really steps into her power. We're definitely conditioned that like to not take up too much space, and not to be too loud or too this or you're too much. You're insert whatever projection you've received from fucking society. But like, I think at the end of the day, witnessing these women in these books, it creates such a very empowering source.
Just a side note, because Victoria was talking a lot about like the female journey and the empowerment, which I love too. And I also love getting the male POV.
Oh, for sure.
And just the totally different dynamics in relationships have also been so healing for me, because you see some men that are very like the protector and like, you know, the famous line that's like, who did this? Who hurt you? And then you're like, oh, fuck,
God.
they're fucked. He's coming. And then there's also like the women, but also one of my favorite authors, Katie Robert, she gives a lot of like non-binary relationships. She does a lot of same-sex relationships. She does a lot of like polyamory with multiple gender or non-gender specific relationships. She's writing a book where it's a whole I don't even know how to say it, but there's like 5 or 6 of them. 2 that are females, 2 that are males, and then there's another person who is non-binary, so they go by they and them. And I just love that whole dynamic. I don't know, like it gets my heart racing just talking about it, because I'm a big person and like I don't think that love is all one way, obviously, you know? Sure. And I just love the way that she showcases how they all come together and how the power dynamic is with all of these different relationships, which is another thing that I think has been really, really beautiful for me to witness, is the different power dynamics. Because like Victoria was saying, traditionally in relationships, we are taught that the man is the powerful one and he's in charge, and the women just say yes and do whatever they're told. And with
very submissive, you know, traditionally submissive roles versus like there being power meets power. It's very like, oh, you're the woman and you're weaker then, or you're less than, and let me take care of you, and you know, and it's just, And I
love this specific book that she's writing because there are so many different characters, and it's so beautiful how they all hold each other at different power dynamics within different aspects of their relationship. Because like there may be someone who is better at taking care of someone outside of the bedroom, and then there may be someone who is better at taking care of someone inside the bedroom. And I just really appreciate that, instead of it having to be one way or the other, you know? Like,
yeah, for sure. I feel like there's a lot more fluidity and permission around the way support and partnership and sexuality and exploration gets to look in your life. When reading these books, it has created so much permission. I literally cannot shut up about these books. I take these books to restaurants when I'm waiting. I literally will get early. I run early now everywhere I go because I have my book with me, because I don't need to scroll on Instagram. I'm gonna just go read. Like I love having this as a way to decompress my mind and let myself just explore in a way that doesn't feel like, you know, I'm just numbing out with Netflix again and just staring at another screen from another screen to another screen. It just feels so much more unwinding and allowing my brain to have this whole other world that I get to kind of play with.
I think that what happens when we become adults is that we constantly have this mindset of, if X plus Y equals Z, Z is what I'm going to focus on. Like we have to have an outcome that is going to impact our life and that's going to like make sense on paper. And we forget that fun and joy is just as powerful as any other outcome that we could be going for. Like I think that adults forget to give themselves permission to do things that they love just because they fucking love them. Okay, well, this has been a really awesome conversation.
So fun. Thank you for coming and joining us for Tea Talk. Smut Talk.
Yes,
Smut Tea. Smut Tea. There we go. That's what we're calling it. Smut Tea.
We got the tea on all the smuts. I would love to give Victoria a little homework to read a couple of like popular dark romance books, and then we're gonna check back with Victoria and her reading journey.
Come see you guys. Let y'all know what's going on, because needless to say, there's gonna be a lot of tea in between now and then with all the smut I've been reading. So
and I feel like because like she said, she's kind of in the beginning stages of opening up to this, and she's read.
I'm really excited to see where it takes me.
We need to get her first 5-star dark romance. Like 5-star because she loves it, but also 5 level in spice.
Yeah, the more the better.
Yeah,
like the more, like the.
Oh my gosh, we gotta get you into some weird stuff too. Like Ice Planet Barbarians. Have you ever heard of that?
No, I don't know what any of this is. I'm so excited. There's so many worlds I've yet to explore.
There are like blue aliens. If you've never read this, then you don't know what I'm talking about. But if you've read this, then you know exactly what I'm saying.
Oh, this sounds juicy.
There's so many.
The
So those are the aliens. So we've got aliens, we've got vampires, we've got werewolves, we've got shifters. That's
It
something
really
I'm
is.
getting into. Werewolves, shifters, that
Interesting. Woof.
love. Oh!
Baby.
We're going to check in with Victoria in a couple of months
I'm come back.
to see how her journey in the Smutiverse, Spicyverse, I don't know.
Spicyverse.
The Smut Multiverse. There we go. That sounds good.
That's it.
We're going to check in with her and see how she is, how she's doing, what's changed in her life from now until then, because I think that's going to be fun.
That's going to be really fun. I'm really excited to see what that does, because reading these books, it's just put like a fire under my ass to like get out there and just do something and have fun. Like
reading fiction will change your life. And you guys know that because either you're just finding my channel on BookTube or you're a part of my channel on BookTube and my BookTube community. But if you're new here, it's given me so many things, and Victoria as well, and also just skyrocketed my creativity too.
For sure.
It's impacted me
crazy.
positively in so many ways. It's nuts. So I am a huge advocate for fiction. I'm a huge advocate for reading spicy books. If you're into spicy and you just like a little caliente, you just like a little spice, then we have Rex for you. If you like dark smuttiness, you know, blue aliens with spurs, we got you, baby. We got you. Whatever you like.
There's no limits to what your desires shall be met.
And you'll never be judged.
Thank you guys so much for having me. This has been so much fun.
Thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
She drove all the way to my house to record this for you guys, and I'm just so happy
worth it.
and so excited. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed this conversation
Yes,
and
please.
you want to be a part of this. And
Hit the button.
yeah, hit the button.
button.
Also, I will link Victoria's Instagram, so if you want to stay tuned for her journey, she talks a lot about books that she's reading in her stories, which is always fun. I love seeing those. And also, if you need anything like business-wise, graphic design, you can always check out her stuff too.
The Kindle. Oh my god. Next. What's happening? Anyways, I totally forgot what we were talking about before our nails. Do you know what were we talking about? Yeah, can you tell us in the comments? Help. Help. Yeah, two ADHD managers. Literally, and my brain just went like flatline. We said Words Are Hard, and then we talked about Mortal Kombat, and then we talked about Mortal Kombat though. Yeah. I freaking love that game.
Definitely, he was giving that for sure. All right, pause for noises in the background.
This truck is so loud, and they always start their car really
Oh,
early in the
God.
morning, and it's just there.
It's so annoying. Okay.
Sounded like a dog, kind of. So, my brain just short-circuited. Oh. This happens.
Words are hard.
Jinx.
Pitch Pokemon Coke.
Jinx Annihilation or something. Like they do like Final Death or something like round. Finish him. Yeah. Like, did you play Mortal Kombat? That's the one game that I love. Yes, I love that game. Matt always teases me because I don't know like the codes. You're just I literally do that. Like and I have alien fingers. Show you this. Why? Right here. Why these though? You know what I mean? What? I just got my little baby nub. You would think I'm like losing part of my pinky, and no, I just have very small pinkies. Oh wow. And like did it come off? Yeah. I just lost the nail.
Meow.
Okay, back on track. Wouldn't that be a good book though? Like the Mortal Kombat characters. What if they were
Oh
in
my
spicy
God.
scenes?
Ooh la la.
10 out of 10. We need to make this happen.
What's
We
the
need to talk
one?
to
What's the one with the mask? What's his name?
him.
Sub-Zero.
Oh.
And he's like, finish him. And then he takes the mask off and just goes to town like. I don't think I'm gonna be able to put that in the video, but let me just fire up my truck. Sir, excuse me, we're recording.
Can you go, please?
We're talking about smut.
All right,
guys. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye, guys.